Well, today we have an incredible guest. Our incredible guest has quite the story. She is the mom of three wonderful girls, and she began 10 years ago in the network marketing field, and she discovered quite a bit that she's going to teach us today that can help you, whether you have your own network marketing business or whether you're thinking of starting one. And she really completely goes against everything that people are fearing in network marketing and really makes it easy for them to learn how to succeed. Now, she's built her own global networking business, and she's got clients all over the world, in the US, in Canada, in the Caribbean, in Australia, in Africa, and beyond. So she has really grown this. And she's joining us all the way from Paris, France. Jatu is here, and she's empowering women about one of the most important things that they can do, which is starting a business so that they can have financial empowerment. Welcome. We're so excited to have you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm happy to be here too.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to dive right in. A lot of people have these preconceived notions about network marketing. And so take us back to the beginning. When did you start in network marketing, and why did you start network marketing?
You see, Coach T, the industry of network marketing is full of people with big dreams. And I am still one of them. And why not? Because it's a model that lets anyone start a business with low investment and low risk. So 10 years ago, I jumped in, chasing what most parents want: more income, more time, more family time, and more control over the future. And then month goes by with success, and then come bigger frustration in the industry. And we were told to do things that we were not aligned with, but success was there. And then we were happy to be in. And I would like to tell you a story, which is something that brought me to where I am now, with something that I want to introduce to you and to those who are watching. Is that I was standing one day in my kitchen, and my three kids were running around, and I had just sent like a message, and I was doing what I was taught, in fact. And this person I sent this message to, I barely knew that person. And I remember this wave of shame that hit me, but I loved what I was selling. I believed in it. But every time that I hit that sent message, I felt smaller, like I was bothering people, like I had become that person, the one everyone avoid at parties. And the worst part, I needed it to work. My family needed the income. And but I didn't want to trade my dignity for it. I didn't want to lose friendship. I didn't want my kids to see me as desperate. And for years, I thought the problem was me, that I wasn't bold enough, that I wasn't pushy enough. But it wasn't me. It was never me. It was the system I had been taught. And once I realized that, everything changed.
Wow. Okay. Wow. What a powerful, powerful story. Because when people think negatively of network marketing, this is exactly what they're talking about. It's this idea that they're going out, they're talking to people, sending DMs, sending emails, asking everyone at their child's school, can they buy this or join? And that's what keeps a lot of people out of network marketing. And so you're telling me, and we're going to get to it, but you're telling me that there is a way that you can be successful in network marketing without doing that. Do I have that right?
Yes, yes, exactly. There is a way
Wow.
to do it. And I would say that I went through few things that brought me to what I want to talk about that can bring success is that I would say that I was dreading doing what I was doing, going to social media, knowing that I had to create content to message strangers and keep up this persona that was not me. And then one night, in fact, my kid asked me, Mommy, why are you always on your computer? And I didn't had a good answer because I wasn't building something. I was chasing something. And that same night, I checked also my bank account and it was that tiny amount that I found. And then I broke and then I cried that night. But it wasn't a poor me cry. It was, in fact, a clarity cry because I finally saw it. I wasn't failing at my business. I was succeeding at a broken method. The script, the cold messaging, they just
Mm.
post more content advice that I was giving. None of it was designed for someone like me, someone who value relationships, someone who wants to build something lasting, not just recruit people. Then what did I do? I just stopped what I was doing. I was taught to do those things that I was doing, that I found success from that. I won't say it was completely bad, but I started, in fact, studying what actually works in modern business, how real businesses brand themselves and attract customers, how legitimate businesses generate leads, how
Mhm.
successful entrepreneurs build system instead of just grinding. And I realized something is that network marketers deserve the same infrastructure real business have. And we deserve funnels, we deserve automation, we deserve to treat, in fact, ourselves like actual CEOs.
Whoa. Whoa. That is big. This is incredible. And so I love it. And so tell us about this system that you're a part of and have built that allows network marketers or people who are wanting to join network marketing, because I'm sure there are people watching that want to join. They just don't know how they would go about it. What does this system do? How does it work? Tell us.
I will start by telling how I get there. And I will be frank is that it was not that good. It was messy. It was really messy. And I spent thousands on courses, trials and errors. And eventually I built what I found that real entrepreneurs were doing. And then I found authority. I found identity. And from that, I built something, those tools that they have. And then I built mine, my own funnel, my own AI product, my own automation. And while I made dinner with my kids, my business was having conversation with potential customers. And
Wow.
I wasn't chasing people anymore. They were coming to me. Then what did I do? The shift is value first and sales second. Instead of pitching, I create, in fact, something, a guide that solves a real problem, that's help mom um, build businesses without sacrificing family time. Then I share that, people download it, and then only then, when they find value, I will make the offer. And the result from that is an increase in sales and income. Then that's the system that I had. Then I started showing what I built, but here is what I learned. knowing what to do and actually doing it are two different things.
Yes.
The tech is overwhelming. Those moms are already exhausted. They have jobs and they are keeping barely their heads above water, and then telling them just build a funnel. It's like telling someone who is already drowning, swim faster. So I partnered with someone and we thought, what if we just build it for them? That's how the automated CEO system was born. It's not a course, not templates. It's a complete infrastructure installed, and we build your brand, your funnel, your tools, your automation. Then we coach you on how to use it, and you get qualified leads daily without a single call DM. And you are not that girl people are avoiding. You are an authority, someone people wants to learn from.
Okay, so we have to just pause for a second, and we have to do a round of applause for the fact that it's not another course. It's not another fun. They are having this done for them. So we're saying that business owners can come to you and all of this is done for them so that their business is doing business while they're with their families. Am I right?
Exactly. You say it right.
Wow, this is incredible. And they're not having to learn the tech and things because it's all being handled.
We do everything for them. We just need to have a vision from them. And from that vision, we go, we work, and then we get back to them like a car. We just give them a car and they just need to drive the car.
Wow. Okay. Now, does this work for a particular type of network business, network marketing business, or does it work across the board?
It's across the board, no limit for everyone who has business.
Oh, so even outside of network marketing, potentially someone could use it. Even outside,
yes.
Wow, this is incredible. And so now, tell me what it will handle. It will handle their their digital product creation, their content. What else does it do?
It does the AI automation for them, their AI digital products. And we have AI tools that we can create for them if they need to, that they can give or sell to their clients. That's something that we have settled for them.
Okay. This is sounding good. So the question that everyone's going to want to know is, well, how has this worked for other people? Give us some real life examples. I mean, you told me about Bill. Can we tell them about Bill?
Yes, of course, Bill. When I have to talk about those successes, I'm happy to do it. So I will start with Bill, since you mentioned it. Bill, water filtration business, making 2,000 a month, grinding, cold messaging everyone, and then we position him as a health authority, not just a distributor. And within 90 days, 12,000 a month. But what got me was what he said. For the first time, I feel like running a real business. Then the emotional shift is as big as the financial one. Then we have Vicky. Vicky is a mom, candle business, couldn't make consistent sales. And then we position her as a home staging expert. And then few months later, 82 customers per week. And she bought her dream car. But what mattered more is that she said, my husband finally believes in my business. For years, yes. For years, he thought it was just a hobby for her. Now he sees her as an entrepreneur, what she always was. And then I will talk about Will. Will, he tripled his team in 30 days because he finally had a system he could duplicate with integrity with his team. And that's the actual business he wanted. And when you have a system, that works and feel good, your team naturally replicates it. So you are not building a business, you are building a movement, in fact.
Wow. 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 I mean, those stories gave me chills because the immediate thought, I'm sure, for the people who started working with you was initially wanting to make money. And then now there's the ripple effect of their lives changing, of them having more clarity, more confidence, more peace. And then that rippling as well to their families and beyond. And I really loved when you said that Bill said, he was happy to feel as if he had a real business for once.
Exactly.
And that's incredible. Okay, so talk to me here. If somebody is interested in purchasing this system with you, I mean, is it available to them? And I would love to hear from you. In week one, what types of results do you think that they can get? Meaning, in week one, what can they accomplish? Can they already start writing content that can start producing leads? Well, tell me a little bit.
Let's say that we will start from the beginning. So
Okay.
we will paint a picture. Let's say it's a lady before she was waking up with that pit in the stomach, and she will ask herself, who do I message today? What do I post? And then she will scroll through social media, looking for inspiration and making a very small amount exhausted. So we do the core to find the vision, and then by week 1 till week 4, the funnel goes live. People she never met are downloading her AI digital product, joining her email list, and she didn't build any of it. We did it. She's just learning to drive the car, as I said before.
Wow.
And for the first time in years, she's not chasing. She's opened her phone and her email, and she has leads, people who come to her. That's the first step. Then by week 3, she started to have 3 to 5 quality leads daily, not from cold messaging. I am saying it again, not from pitching friends, from systems working while she sleeps. That's the starting point. And then by week 12, she takes a screenshot showing her result, which is 3,000 this month. Then another text, my husband asks about my business at dinner, not in that way, when are you giving up? But he is actually proud. That's the moment when shames turn to pride, when hiding becomes showing up, when that MLM guys becomes the man, the woman who's building something real. That's their dignity back.
Wow. And so if someone is now at the edge of their seat here and they want to find out how they can purchase this done for you system with you, we're going to put the QR code on the screen right now. And as we do that, please give us any last words. Why should people do this now as opposed to later? Why do they need to join this in this moment now?
So I'll talk to you, the one watching right now, who is tired, who has been at this like 2-3 years and starting to wonder if you are not caught out for it. I will tell you to hear me, and I will say to you that you are not failing. The system is failing you. The shame, the frustration, none of that means that you are not good enough. It means you are giving the wrong tool. And your dream of freedom, flexibility, real income, it's valid. You just need a different path. There's a way to build your business that feels good, where you are not chasing anyone, where you wake up excited because your business is working for you, not draining you. If you are ready to stop chasing and start choosing, to stop feeling like the one people are avoiding and start feeling like the CEO you actually are, this is your moment. The automated CEO system builds everything for you, your brand, your funnel, your AI product and tools, your automation, and we work with you until you succeed. So don't let another year go by feeling the way you do right now. And I would like to say that to you, Coach T, and to all those people. We are not just building businesses. We are rebuilding an entire industry with dignity. And 5 years from now, I want people to hear that network marketing and think of empowered CEOs running real businesses, not desperate people spamming direct messages. That's the movement.
Wow. And there was no greater ending than that. I don't even have a follow-up to it. Please scan the QR code on the screen. You know, I will tell you that I work with lots of entrepreneurs all over the world, but she's really the real deal, very passionate about what she does. Click the QR code or scan the QR code, I should say. Dive in, find out more about this. It's quite affordable, and it's one of those things where it will pay off as soon as you start to use it. So thank you. And it's been fantastic having you on. Thanks so much. Well, I'm really excited. We've got a very special guest that's on today, and we're going to learn a lot about taxes as women and how we're going to be able to legally save a lot of money. Now, before we get into all of the good tricks and tools that she's going to teach us, I've got to introduce her. So she's been a CPA for over 15 plus years. She's bilingual in Spanish and English. So that means she can help all of us. And she's specializing particularly in helping women with service-based businesses because she finds that they can benefit the most from her services. And she's known for simplifying tax strategies, but most importantly, helping female entrepreneurs save $10,000 to $30,000 per year on average with their taxes. So I've got to welcome her on. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for being with us. How are you?
Hi, I'm super excited to be here. I'm excited to share all of my knowledge with all of these great women business owners that are out there.
So give us your name, give us your title, let them know who you are, and we're going to jump into the questions.
So absolutely. My name is Jandra Jovet. I'm a CPA based in Texas, but I help businesses and women all over the United States and including the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico also. My strong suit and my passion is watching these great women build successful businesses, but at the same time, helping them keep more money in their pocket.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's dive in. A lot of women entrepreneurs are overpaying in taxes, you've said. And so many women that are making 6 and 7 figures still pay far more than they should be paying. And so the question is, why is this happening so frequently?
So honestly, this happens far more often than people realize, especially among high earning women entrepreneurs. And it's not because they're doing anything wrong. It's because the tax system was never designed for business owners to navigate it alone. Most women that I work with, they're phenomenal at generating revenue, but no one ever taught them how to build a tax efficient business. They're running multiple income streams. They're scaling quickly. They're juggling home, family, businesses. So taxes become an afterthought instead of strategy. They remember that taxes exist once April 15 comes knocking on the door. So another big reason is that many business owners only see their CPA once a year during tax season, when by that time it's already late to fix anything. By the time they're filing, the year is over and the opportunity to save thousands or tens of thousands of dollars is gone. And here's what the most people don't expect. A lot of CPAs are reactive. They're overwhelmed from January until April to do anything that it's not tax compliance and tax filing. So they're not strategic. They're reacting. They have to comply with the law. So they prepare a tax return, but they're not proactively advising their clients on what they need to do in terms of entity structure, payroll strategy, deductions, all of these good stuff that's out there that with time and good planning can save you thousands of dollars.
So what's the difference? Because a lot of entrepreneurs are going to say, well, I've got a bookkeeper. How is what you do different than that? And how do your services also go along with their bookkeeping services?
So it's different. A bookkeeper, I would say, is essential because without a good, clean set of books, that's the most important part. You're going to miss deductions. You're going to miss expenses. You need a good bookkeeper to be a second set of eyes in your business so that you don't miss anything. Now, when I have a good clean of books coming my way, then I can tell you by looking at financial statement what needs to be done in terms of strategies that can save money. But without that bookkeeping backbone, it's very, very difficult, I would say impossible, to do a good tax saving strategy.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Well, let's talk. We've talked before about some of the top misconceptions that female entrepreneurs have about taxes and money. And so let's start with misconception number one. A lot of people are thinking, well, the more money I make, the more taxes I have to pay. Are they right or are they wrong?
They are wrong. The more money you make, the more strategic you need to be with your money. The tax code, and you have heard this from politicians, big CEOs, Fortune 500 companies, the tax code is written for successful business owners. So the more money you make, you have to be strategic with your money. And when we're talking about tax savings, what we mean is the money that we were going to use to pay taxes is going to be allocated to something else that's going to benefit you as a business owner.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. So let's get into misconception number two, which is, well, I already have someone that's doing my taxes. Does that guarantee that they're getting the tax strategies we're talking about?
Not necessarily, because if it's not a tax advisor, CPA, or tax advisor professional, they're probably missing on deductions, credits, or things that they can do throughout the year to minimize taxes. Just because you have a tax professional in your corner doesn't necessarily mean that your tax strategy is optimized. Okay?
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's go to misconception number three. People are thinking that tax is complicated. It's too hard to understand. And it's really only for big businesses that are making many multiples of millions. Is that true?
So the truth is the tax code, the jargon is complicated. So that's why you need a tax professional that's well versed in those rules and requirements to advise their clients in simple, plain English what they need to do. I can recite you the Augusta rule. I can recite you bonus depreciation. I can recite you the strategies, but someone that is not versed on that language is not gonna understand. So we need to talk to our clients in simple English terms.
And so why should women entrepreneurs not be intimidated by taxes? Why should they feel empowered by learning about this and getting someone like you in their corner? What will that do for them?
So the first thing will be giving them a peace of mind. Now, let me say, not everybody understand the concepts of taxes. It's impossible. Everybody is their own individual person. Some people are more logical, systematic, or other people are more creative. They just don't understand. But they do understand saving money. Everybody understands saving money. So by working with someone like me, that I like to not only do for my clients, but teach them what it's being done. We're doing X, Y, and Z, and this is the reason that we are doing it without reciting the IRS code.
That's the key, right?
That's the key. I will tell them the rules, but I will not explain the strategies, the things that we're doing on our day-to-day basis based on whatever the jargon is used on the Internal Revenue Code.
Okay. Well, most of us that are in business and are passionate about what we do have some sort of lived experience. And we can tell that you're passionate about helping women with their taxes. And so I have to ask you, would you mind sharing your personal story of what made you so passionate about this? What was your own experience with taxes and what did you do to end up here?
This is a great story because the first year on my business that I made multiple six figures, my tax bill was over $50,000. I almost cried. I had no idea how to tell my husband that we owe 50 grand to the IRS. I was adamant to pay that much money. I told my husband, if I have known, I would have bought a new car, do investment, buy a property, do other things, because in my mind, paying $50,000 to the government was such a waste of money, where we can just reroute that money to work for us. So that's how I started. And then once I had that experience, I went through my clients and conversations with my clients, and I saw a pattern of, I saw myself in my clients, the same frustrations, the same fears, the same embarrassment. I had a client that made $1.5 million on her first year of business, and she cried when I told her, you're going to owe almost $350,000 in taxes. That's life-changing money.
Right.
So,
Wow.
and I see this day to day with all of my clients. So I went through my roster of clients. Okay, how can I start optimizing their tax strategy, their business? And it clicked like, this is great. Why are we not talking more about this?
Absolutely. Well, fast forwarding now, 15 plus years as a CPA, you have your own method, your own formula. And what patterns did you start seeing that led you to having more businesses convert to an S Corp? And what had you formulate this method, the S Corp secret? Tell us more.
So the pattern that I kept seeing over again was the frustration, was the embarrassment, was women were coming to me like, what am I doing wrong? Do I know something? Does everybody know something that I don't know? I'm working super hard and I'm not seeing my money. Where is it? We keep having all of these conversations. And the truth was, they were never guided. The system is not set up for business owners to win. We have to go out there and find the tools and find the people to help us build and grow businesses. I know when I went in college, I majored in accounting, but I never got a business class. How to be an entrepreneur. That was not something that was given when I graduated, like way back. And I think it's important to teach this generation to master accounting, to master finance, to master bookkeeping, because it's essential. We talk a lot about personal finances, but we need to talk about business finances too. We need to have healthy business finances in order to scale, in order to hire people, in order to compensate our employees, to create the backbone of our society, which I truly believe are small business owners.
Oh, absolutely. I'm with you on that. So tell me, how does someone converting to an S Corp or starting an S Corp going to save them $10,000 to $25,000 a year potentially?
So this is the example that I always give my clients when I get asked that question. I get asked that question every time S corporation comes to the table. So the easiest way for me to explain to you is, if you are an LLC and you're filing your tax return on your Schedule C of your Form 1040 and your profit was $100,000, automatically that's 15.3% of self-employment tax. That 15 grand that it's going automatically to the IRS. That's not including federal income tax or state income tax. Okay. Now, if you switch, you elect your business to be taxed as an S corporation, that same $100,000 we can divide in reasonable compensation or payroll, and then what's left over, which will be the business net profit, it will be a distribution. So as an S corporation, let's say our payroll is $50,000, you only will be taxed self-employment on those 50. The leftover 50, it's not subject to self-employment tax. So you're already saving money right there. Now, imagine and this is just in a small scale. So do your calculation. If your net profit is 200,000, 500,000, I have a client that her net income is $3 million a year. So we have to be very strategic in order to pay what is required of us to pay to the government, but without giving away more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I've got to ask, one of my favorite questions here is, how does purchasing $100,000 car going to save some of these female entrepreneurs money on their taxes this year?
Well, this is funny because I just did that. And it's not about buying a car for buying a car. I needed to buy a new car. My lease was expiring, so I needed to make a decision of what I was going to do. So I decided, because for 2025 and forward, you can write off 100% of vehicles or equipment or investments, assets that you buy for your business. You can write off 100% of the cost. So I made sure to buy a vehicle that first qualified under the bonus depreciation rules. It's going to be used for my business. So I decided to buy a car. So the car cost $100,000. So I can write off as a bonus depreciation $100,000, and then my income is going to increase. Now that $100,000 taxed at a 20%, that's just $20,000 of savings right there. But you have to comply with the rules. You have to understand, and I will teach this on my S Secret method. I will tell you what the requirements are for you to buy a car. It's not any car. You need to buy something that qualifies.
Exactly. Okay. Well, what about our female entrepreneurs here who have businesses and they are running events out of their home? How can they get tax savings?
So this is a great strategy. And again, all of these strategies, they need to be applied according to the rules and requirements. So there are things that need to be put in place in order to do that. So this client of mine, which I follow her, I'm my biggest client's cheerleader. So I follow my client on Instagram, and I saw that she was hosting events for her team and was doing networks event on her beautiful house. So I reach out to her and I'm like, hey, you're doing this, then we can do this to help you save taxes. So what we can do is, it's called the Augusta rule. So we can write off the fair market value of rent. If she was going to rent, let's see, a venue to do the activity or to do the event, we can write off the fair market value of the rent. It's a business write-off, but it's not taxable income for her personally, if we abide by the rules and the guidelines of the strategy.
Okay. And now tell us about retirement. If someone is wanting to grow their retirement as an entrepreneur, and they're not able, they don't have a retirement plan right now, or they want to put more money in retirement, how can they put more money in retirement to reduce their tax burden?
So absolutely. I think retirement is essential for every business owner that works from themselves, that they don't have a company that's matching their contributions. So I did this for another client of mine. He was contributing $20,000 to his 401k, but he was just matching. The business was matching 20, I think it was $20,000. But the law allows for employer, that means business, and employee, that means owner, to contribute up to $70,000 per year. So I told him, hey, we need to up our retirement contributions from the business. So when we increase his retirement contribution, he's saving $15,000 in taxes. So he's still keeping the money but the money is being rerouted to our retirement plan. And that move saved him $15,000.
Well, there you go. So for anybody that is excited about everything that you've been talking about and they want to learn more about it, tell us the name of the system that you've created and why they should join it. We're going to put the QR code on the screen right now. Scan it to find out more.
So I created something that I named the S Corp Secrets Method. And it's part course. You're going to have a few master classes explaining absolutely my favorite tax strategies, or at least the 7 or 8 strategies that every business owner probably qualifies in a simple and strategic way. In addition, you will get S Corp legal templates, which I had an attorney help me draft. You're going to get checklists. You're going to get workbooks. You're going to get how to treat your reasonable compensation so it's audit proof. In addition, and the best part, I will prepare your custom tax plan. We're going to review 2023, 2024 tax returns. We're going to take a look at how 2025 is going, and we're going to create a plan that we can implement before December 31st so you can save on taxes before April 15th comes around.
Ooh, I like it. Well, this is a lot of good. Yeah, this is a lot of good information. Thank you so much for being with us. The QR code is there for people to have access to. And thanks for being on.
Absolutely. Thank you. My pleasure.
So our next guest has quite the interesting resume. She has spent over 20 years translating very high stakes information in the medical field, scientific field, and the regulatory field. And she's been able to condense it down and share it with people who are not in those fields. So things make sense. She's worked with physicians. She's worked with founders. and policymakers to make very complex data very easy to understand. And now she spent 5+ years in the space of crypto investing, in early stage crypto investing at that. So we've got quite a unique guest on, and she's done so many interesting things, but what's most important to this conversation is the fact that she's been in rooms with founders, with researchers, with early investors, and she understands what newcomers fear. She understands what investors might be misunderstanding and the volatility of the market. And so in today's session, she's going to teach us a few things that we need to know and how we can close the gap between innovation and investor understanding, which is what this conversation is all about. So welcome, Lucia. We're thrilled to have you on. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. I thought I might talk today about two different crypto projects for different reasons. One is Ethereum, because traditional investors have recently begun to be holders of Ethereum through funds, through ETFs, and sometimes they maybe get advice to invest in it and not know very much about it. So I think there's a real need for understanding, and I think that I can fill that gap.
Oh, you can absolutely fill that gap, and we're gonna get there. But I want you to kind of give everybody kind of the foundational understanding. And I think the first question is, crypto funds are growing at a very fast rate, and they're also losing investors just as fast. And so I think the first thing that we should address is what's actually happening in this moment, and why are funds that are scaling quickly failing just as quickly as they've been scaling?
Right. So actually, I don't think that they're really failing. I think what's happening right now is that there's an overall dip in the markets. And crypto has followed the stock market, and it's still kind of coupled to the stock market. And so when you see stocks going down, especially smaller cap stocks or mid cap, and even the large caps are having dips now, crypto is following the market basically. So, but one thing that you're seeing at the end of the year is that institutions are moving out when there's a drop in price, because they need to do what's called window dressing. The same thing happens in stocks. And at the end of the year, for the fourth quarter, they need to make their benchmarks look better. And so they're cycling money into large caps that might be doing better, or they're looking for to show gains towards the end of the year. And they might well move back in January. And that's something that individual investors might not realize. They're seeing the large institutions, they're seeing just that money is moving out, and they're wondering what's happening and whether they should also get out. And I think now would not be the time to get out for that reason. But people panic, and having a greater understanding of what's going on can prevent people from panicking. They might think there's competition, and that's why Ethereum isn't doing well, or something like that. And I think it's important to understand what the competitive field is like and why Ethereum is unique in its field.
Well, that's great insight, and I'm thrilled that you're bringing up Ethereum here. Tell us where Ethereum really fits into this landscape. If you could tell us a little bit about its role, its purpose, and the strategic position, just a little, so that people have an understanding that may need it.
Yes. Well, Ethereum is kind of infrastructure for crypto. It's a blockchain that's programmable so that you can build other projects on it. But it also is very stable and in blockchain architecture, I guess you could say, there's a kind of conundrum. There's a paradox that you can have two of three things work well at once, and that is you can have decentralization, which accounts for some of the stability of the system. You can have security, which is separate but also connected to the decentralization, and you can have speed or the speed of transactions. And with Ethereum, it has the stability and so the decentralization and the security, but the speed is slower, so it's more expensive. And so other blockchains have been built on top of it, which are also kind of rails, which do some of the same things, but which bundle the transactions. And so if 1,000 of them go through at once, obviously that transaction on Ethereum is going to be much cheaper. Mm-hmm. So instead of taking 15 seconds for a transaction, you could have 1,000 transactions process in about that much time. And so it costs pennies instead of multiple dollars. And so that's why some projects have been built on top of Ethereum that are called layer twos, and they roll up these transactions into bundles. So as a solution for speed.
And what about the foreseeable catalyst? What do you see as kind of upcoming movement, concrete, predictable drivers of growth with Ethereum?
Right. So I think that stable coins, which are projected to really explode and become a much larger portion of the crypto economy, will be part of the Ethereum ecosystem. And people may have heard that coins are being built on a kind of competing network, Solana, but it's more meme coins and coins that don't have a specific purpose, whereas stable coins, which allow transactions to take place all over the world, kind of like a substitute for the dollar, will settle on Ethereum. And even though there will be other companies or other crypto projects that will benefit from the success of stablecoins, Ethereum will also benefit from that. So that's one major catalyst for the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, talk to me, a little bit about, something we've discussed before, which was the 3-tier, challenge that investors, that investors have. So with EFT markets, they're segmented by sophistication. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works and how you see that?
Well, I think that EFTs, I think that I was just speaking of the different categories of investor who might be entering EFTs. There might be some investors may be more sophisticated, and so the language, more technical language, is accessible to them. And much of the language that surrounded crypto has been directed towards more sophisticated investors, whereas there's people who might have a passing exposure but haven't really studied it, haven't spent a lot of time, and they're a sort of middle group. And so they haven't been well served either by the kinds of communications that have um, been offered in the past. And then there's truly naive investors who are just new to investing in crypto. Their advisor might have told them to buy ETH or that kind of thing. And so they have invested, but they don't really know what distinguishes it from other cryptos. They don't know much about it, and they need a more basic kind of orientation to these kind of projects. And so what's needed and what could be useful for especially the two the medium knowledge investor and the investor with a very basic acquaintance are educational email courses. They're kind of mini courses that just give a kind of orientation to what ETH is and what it supports and what the possibilities are, and then newsletters to keep people apprised of the latest developments, like what is happening with stablecoins and Ethereum and that kind of thing.
Okay.
As time goes on.
And you were able to help with this. You would tell us a little bit about, how you're able to help them. Do you put together these mini courses or correspondence? How does that work?
Yes, I produce mini courses that can be put on a landing page, and so they're useful for someone who's curious, who comes to, let's say, an ETF fund site or to an advisor site, and they can learn about the fund they're investing in, or they can learn as someone who's curious about it. So it becomes both a benefit for existing investors and a tool for acquainting new customers or clients about what the ETF offers.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's helpful. Please.
And then the natural follow-on is frequent touches for investors in all kinds of crypto. I was involved in an advisory group for about 5 years, and so it was once a week they had a video conference, and often there wasn't really enough news to occupy an hour video conference once a week, and they asked the members, which numbered in the hundreds because they were offering advice about multiple altcoins and crypto investments, whether they could skip a week. And people were adamant always that they wanted some reassurance once a week in that video conference. Wow. And also they send a newsletter once a week. So it's 2 touches a week. And I think when in turbulent times, which are pretty much all the time, crypto is very volatile, that's frequent touches are needed.
Wow. That's so interesting because lots of funds are probably not even having 2 touch points a week. And here they are having 2 touch points a week. And the consensus was we absolutely need it, even when there wasn't much to talk about. Wow. Well, exactly. Talk to us about, we're going to move from Ethereum for a moment and let's go over to BitTensor. What is it and what do people not yet know about this?
Yes, I suggested speaking about BitTensor because it's an AI project, basically, many of the projects built on the BitTensor blockchain, which is modeled actually after Bitcoin, are AI related. And it was created to enable AI activities, although not all the companies are AI. There are 128 subnets, or each of which is like a separate company on BitTensor, and there could be more in the future. But I think that it needs explaining because it's very complex. There's a lot to understand about it, and each of these companies really needs communications and explanations, and so because of that, I think that the tensor really cries out for education for investors.
And would you say that it needs more attention and more communication than even Ethereum?
It has right now, and I think that it has a different kind of investor. The reason I mentioned Ethereum at the start was that traditional investors who haven't been very involved in crypto are buying Ethereum through ETFs and funds. And with BitTensor, it's newer. And so the investors are people who are interested often in both crypto and AI. And so it also offers the possibility of high returns through direct investments in the subnets. But it's complicated to get those high returns and not lose some of the principal that you've invested. With BitTensor, you have to buy Tau, which is the BitTensor token, to get access to the subnets. The subnets each have their own coin, which is called their own alpha coin. And so the alpha for subnet 1 is different from the alpha coin for subnet 4. And so in order to buy those alpha coins, you have to trade Tau or the BitTensor coin for those. And then to exit, to sell the alpha coins, you have to trade them for Tau in order to exit your position. So basically, Tau is the intermediary for the alpha coins. And what happens is that the coins that are offering high returns, sometimes an equivalent APY to something like 79%, which are called rewards on BitTensor. People are rushing in to those high reward coins, and it's kind of like buying at the peak, buying a stock at the peak. It could easily drop, and then you could lose the principal that you invested. So investing in the subnets is complex, and it's important to understand before rushing in what the pros and cons are of different strategies and that kind of thing. And so I think education is needed both for the projects that are being developed on the subnets, as well as the strategies for investing in them.
This makes sense. So you've mentioned a lot. We now have an understanding of why this is needed. Can you tell us a little bit about what happens when a fund decides to work with you? Can you create some clarity, and as to what it looks like to work with you and what the benefits are directly to their investors and consumers?
Yes. So I like to say that I take a consultative approach, although I mainly offer educational email courses, which can be a lead magnet for new investors or a benefit for existing ones. It enables a founder or fund to get an email address in exchange for a free benefit, which is this educational email course that helps someone understand the nature of their investment. And also, then they can send newsletters that will offer those frequent touches, those updates. And so I offer those two things, but I'm very willing to adapt those offerings to the needs of the particular founder or fund manager, so that if someone needs a twice a month email or newsletter, I'm perfectly willing to arrange that. And I do think that it's beneficial to plan to send a newsletter or communication for at least 6 months, because in that amount of time, your investor, you have educated your investor, and you have a sense of what you need to do. So I develop content calendars and strategies with my clients to help them better serve their clients.
And in your words, what would you say is the reason why you are uniquely positioned to help these funds based on your experience and expertise? If they're looking around for someone to help them with this, why you?
Well, I speak from the point of view of both having been a naive investor and having watched many other people enter this space over a period of at least 5 years. And so I have a sense of the questions people have. I have a sense of the interval at which they need reassurance. And I have the background to adapt language that will reach all different audiences. And so for those reasons, I think that I'm well positioned to help founders and fund managers communicate in a way that's effective and will serve both their business goals and their clients.
Absolutely. And so if someone is watching right now that wants to find out more about what you offer, or they want to have a consultation with you to get something customized, how can they find out more? What steps would you like them to take?
Yes, well, they can reach me on LinkedIn or Twitter, X, Lucia Stern, LuciaStern, and that's
how they can reach you.
How they can reach me.
And as a final word, when a fund decides to invest with you, how are they going to get their ROI back? How do they see the return on that investment, and how soon could they possibly see it? I mean, that's the bottom line that many want to know.
Right. Well, I think that they can see that that investors will stay longer. There won't be as much. It could reduce volatility in their fund or crypto project, and I think that especially over a 3-month period, they could see fewer panicked emails, fewer calls and questions about whether it's time to exit, whether they could see, I think BitTensor founders could see greater interest in their project through understanding of what the short, medium, and long-term prospects are, and how to what to expect in terms of their projected timeline for their development, since most of them are early stage. And so less volatility and more customer satisfaction.
Wonderful. And so give us the steps for them to reach out to you again. What's the name on LinkedIn and X?
Lucia Stern, LuciaStern. And you can DM me or and we can set up a call or yes.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.